Okay, Richie, if you can, hit *6 if you're by phone, or unmute yourself if you're by computer. I think you're by computer. Okay, Richie, you should be able to speak. Richard, can you hear me? He's probably catching a wink. I think it's very early in the morning there. Richard's going to be giving us the UK perspective once again, and he says he has a lot of new material that he would like to share, and some of which I was going to share for him tonight here, but we've elected, and he said he had the time, so he is going to be joining us here shortly. Richard, are you here? Okay. Richard, are you having problems? Just want to make sure he's not trying to get through on Skype. Hi, Richie, can you hear me? Hi, Richard. We can hear you.
Help the way it releases from the curve. And also we would have done that with our hands. We literally just put the fingers apart.
Hi, Richie. You've got some background right there.
Yeah, 2 seconds, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Right, can you give me 2 minutes? I just need to get into my room.
Okay. Hi, Richie, are you all set? Apparently not.
Okay.
Okay, you are definitely already unmuted.
Right. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Alright, cool. I'm currently in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Edinburgh, Scotland. Okay, go ahead.
So, my experience has been a nightmare. But I'm currently getting broadcast in Edinburgh, like the entire city. So my thoughts are actually on traffic to the capital of Scotland. So, do you have any questions? I mentioned a bit on chat of what the technology is.
Okay. I have two. Actually, I have somebody up Her name is Jenny. She'd like to ask you a question right away.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Go ahead, Jenny. Jenny Hayden? Jen Hay? Okay, we'll go on to the next question. Richard, go ahead, sir.
Well, I'd just like to try to get some short description of how the targeting is over there.
Well, the targeting for me is I'm getting broadcast fairly big. As I say, capital city Edinburgh. People are in awe over me and my thoughts. It's like they're thought trafficking me. But, they're all laughing and, they're calling me, you don't want to know, it's like, they're calling me like Christ 2 and such like, and because, I've like helped release the technology and I'm getting broadcast all over the place, and because I've been trafficked around the world, there's been worldwide music made about me in like multiple different languages, singing about me. At the minute, what seems to be happening for me is I am walking around Edinburgh, just sightseeing, having a look at, the architecture, the arts, and, the culture here. Whilst all the time they are trying to direct and drive my thought train, my patterns. I call it psychological hooking and triggering, to try to get me to talk to them. They're always questioning everything I look at, everything I think of. And what do you think of that? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? All the time. I try to ignore them the best I can. But, most of the time they are trying to sabotage my, my thoughts. And whilst I'm trying to, walk around my travel partner and see the sights. There's a lot of people in my environment, reacting to my thoughts and such like. And they all can hear me. They're not scared to open their mouth and, say stuff. My presence and such like. They're not really too bothered about doing that. But it does kind of make me shy and embarrassed, to hear my thoughts. But it's all like good stuff they're saying, complimenting me and so forth. But it's still extremely violating and so forth. It's not much a secret here. It should be. But are you still there?
Oh yeah, we're here.
It's not much of a secret here, and all the population are reacting and, seeing compliments as they pass and smiling and laughing, at some of the jokes I think of and so forth. But, it's extremely violent, obviously. I've been around the world where they've done this. Different countries around the globe where they've, pretty much used me as like a tool or weapon. They make excuses up like, to try and get everyone on board, accusing me, of being a bad person or evil or, a threat. But, my religious beliefs is, Buddhism, and I do no harm to others, and I can't harm like an insect, let alone a person. So, all these allegations are just excuses to, continue the projects and programs on me. And what they seem to be trying to do is setting up, like they have been for all the time, is kind of like a culture, fascist culture, like a fascism type drive. And sometimes like to call this the family, which is essentially, what targeted individuals call gang stalkers, but these are just, brainwashed civilians which, got involved and didn't know what they were doing. They probably thought they were, fighting crime or something, or doing something like that, but essentially what I've experienced is a lot of, child exhibitionism and, exploitation, and I think it's wrong. And they're not scared to, stimulate, parts of, the sexual organs when you're out and about, even though that actually stimulates, children, babies and adults alike as well. They sometimes do this, to trigger me and such like. They have total control over my thirst, my hunger, my sleep, my emotions, all my muscles, my eyes, the movements of my eyes, what I look at. They've got quite a lot of control over my nervous system, especially my sexual organs. I'm obsessed with. And yeah, it's all STEM. The STEM is, created by electromagnetic fields, similar to TMS, which is magnetic stimulation. It's just patterns of, electromagnetic fields. So if you imagine like in high school where you have the squiggly lines like a sine wave up and down, so electromagnetic field will be, in sync with that, but 90-degree out of plane. If you can imagine that, so if one's got a frequency, so is the other, and you use this frequency to, like patterns of that, to stimulate the brain. The brain controls everything, as you know, your whole central nervous system, all your emotions, all your control, everything you are. So one that controls your body. And it's not just getting used on me, it's getting used on the general population around me as well. The fact of the focus is on me is the fact is they don't know that or see that. I try and teach them that. But that's what the psychobabble, I call it, the voices, to keep, the focus on me. And so they don't freak out and realize, well, the role in the beam, the organ control and manipulated as well, It's not just me in this thought process either. I've got, all those psychopaths which are in the hive mind team, which, are trying to corrupt my thoughts and push stuff as well, and working against me, to try, smear, character assassinate, etc. So yeah, they can flash images as well. I can use mental imagery, and the people around me get that mental imagery, but the people in the hive mind team can also flash mental imagery and then pretend it's me. So I call them corruptors and psychopaths really, which do this sort of thing. But I've got so much eyewitness accounts. I've like reached a global audience now, so I've got so much proof it's unreal. So that's how they do the mind control part. And for the reading part, which everyone else also doesn't get, is brainwave amplification. And I discovered this, I believe last time I was talking to Frank, I believe I had implants or like a Neuralace, but since then I've had 2 CAT scans, CT scans, privately done on my head and neck, 2 different hospitals, 2 different machines, because they convinced me the first one was fake and the doctor worked for them. So the second time, I put a bit of non-ferrous metal in my hair, just to mark it as my own, and got it done again, different hospital, different machine. And I released the slides to the public as well, so they could have a look for themselves and say, look, well, he hasn't got anything in his head. So that was like a very important discovery, because as soon as that was discovered, it means that everyone's susceptible, because if I had implants, then, you know, it would just be me. But now, approved I don't, it's everyone. So after that, I quickly came to the discovery, well, if I haven't got implants, then it's, you know, it's got to be something to do with brainwaves or electrical activity. And, you know, accidentally worked out when I was developing a JAMA device, that two RF, you know, radio frequencies put together amplify each other, which I didn't know. So it makes complete sense that, you know, the bombard the area with, you know, alpha radiation, and then all your brainwaves are amplified and picked up remotely. So it's like remote EEG, and there's no other way you can do it. There's just no other way. See, like, your head moves many angles, signal source is fixed. So, you know, the signals have to come from, like, up. I released a long time ago heterodyning and so forth, but it's got nothing to do with the patents. There's actually no patents on this, probably because it's top secret. There's no patents on brainwave amplification, so they are reading everyone. The law enforcement are also involved, but they just use insophisticated equipment such as audio spotlighting and speakers, directional speakers, to assist. But the main part of the technology, I don't believe, is sonics, but more audio cortex stimulation. And, you know, the thing is, if people can see through my eyes, then it's their visual cortex that's being stimulated by the same weapons of mind controlling me. So that means they also get mind controlled and stimulated also. And, you know, this COVID-19 and this corona thing, you know, it's like, well, if you're cloning me and people are feeling what I feel, and, you know, if I twitch a muscle and they feel a twitch, or their visuals or my visuals, and if, you know, my mental imagery is their mental imagery, what would happen if you cloned someone with the flu, you know, and passed that flu person to a group of people? What would happen to that group of people? So the targeted individual map, I don't know if you've seen the geographical map, actually matches identical to the COVID-19 map. So it shows where the weapon location is, which is mainly primarily focused on the UK, Europe, and the USA. But, you know, it has to be satellite technology which is bombarding us with this EMF, because of, you know, if it came from the ground, it would fry someone at the source. By the time it got to you, to stimulate you, and they couldn't keep it secret as well, because, you know, everyone in between that point and this point would be, you know, stimmed. So it has to be satellite technology. What I'm trying to broadcast to the world now and get out there is EMF triangulation. So you probably all got your EMF meters and your EMF apps. You can actually triangulate it. There's methods to, you know, do it in 3D space. What I'm trying to do is, you know, get this out to government scientists, etc., which can, you know, point it to the satellites involved and see who owns these satellites. And, you know, that will ultimately save us all. Once, you know, different countries, governments, which I'm connected to internationally, you know, different people from all walks of life all around the world, if I would just get that out, EMF triangulation, you know, the right people will find it. Are you still there, Frank?
Oh yeah, I'm here. Your targeting parallels mine almost exactly, and
Yeah.
there are several other people on this call right now that it does parallel. Marilyn, would you like to ask a question? Because you are very close to what Richie is experiencing. Or would you like to talk back and forth for a few minutes? Okay. Well, we can go on here ourselves until we get some more people in. And we can go over this, but I'm very interested in the fact that you feel that it is satellites as well, because
Yeah.
there's nothing, no other type of platform that would get this around the world. Now, we have TIs that travel around the world, and they still
Yep.
are attacked by the same people.
Exactly.
One of them is Brian Tew, T-E-W. I don't know if you...
Yeah. Watch him a lot. Yeah. Keep tracks of his movements. He's in Barcelona now. Last time I checked.
Barcelona? Okay. Yeah, he's been to Ecuador. He has been, as far as I know, to Russia. I don't think he's been to China. I don't think I would go there either. But it's clear that the targeting that you are getting over there is basically the same thing, and coming from the same type of unit. So,
Well, if you think about it, I've been to like Portugal and such like, and they haven't got, they're not technologically advanced to, use people's minds or use mind control. So, as you people are traveling around the world, it's still getting hit. And as I mentioned with the EMF, they would get fried by the power levels that TIs are reading. If you were close to the source, if it came from mobile phones, if you were close to that, you'd get fried. You definitely you'd get cancer, you'd be irradiated by the time they got that power to you, which is, quarter of a mile away or something. The people 50 yards away will be fried by the time it got to you, so it has to come from up to down. And I've used scientific instruments such as like an RF reader, expensive one, to measure this and prove it, and by going upstairs, measuring level going up. And I've done this in mutations, and you can also do it on an EMF app, which everyone uses, and sweet spots. Press that, we know which one.
okay, Rich,
And
try and stay in one place, okay? Because you're fading in and out. I don't know whether if you're moving around, but stay in the original position that you were in when you started, and I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm in the original position, but I might be, getting disturbed. Electronic attacks, maybe, possibly, I'm not sure.
Yeah, they might be trying to grab your phone too. What are you using over there? Basically, what does the average TI have for a cell phone? I was just curious.
I've just got an S8 phone. It's Samsung S8.
Okay.
I haven't jailbreak this one. Normally I jailbreak it and put in security rules, but this one's like pretty open, so the more definitely have got access to it, without a doubt.
Okay, what I'd like to do is end Q&A for about a half an hour and then pick it up again. Can we do that?
Sorry, what did you say?
I'd like to end Q&A for like a half an hour and wait till we get a larger crowd, because it's Friday night. We usually get a really good crowd on Friday night. And then we can
quite
put...
late here.
No, you can mix it.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to stay on that long. But I hope absorbed like most of the information. I don't know if you record.
Yes, I do.
You know this. All right, so it will be interesting, for people to, hear the playback.
Sure.
Considering I've got that's pretty much the full understanding of the technology.
Right.
If you want to know who's behind it, it's Military Intelligence, Psychological Operations Divisions. You've heard of the Dirty Dozen before, surely. Richard Lighthouse's work, USAF, and so forth are involved as well. The Military Industrial Complex, the IC, the intelligence community. Unfortunately, it's forced down to law enforcement as well, such as FBI and the local police. They all know what's going on. So does the general public, believe it or not. They also know what's going on. So that's that. But what they not aware of is, they're getting hit as well.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Richie? Richie is from Edinburgh, Scotland, or that's where he is right now. And he's giving us what it's like over there, if you will.
I've had black helicopters, regular police helicopters, nukes, army, military intelligence, spooks, the whole shebang. I get the whole lot after me, so... yeah.
Okay, we have another question from Richard. Go ahead, Richard.
Okay, well, I just wanted to thank Mr. Peel for coming by and sharing with us, and to please take his time and make yourself at home.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I second that. The numbers are starting to go up. They should do so incrementally here over the course of the next half hour or so. I don't know how much time you have, but you are welcome to spend all of the time you want.
Okay, thank you very much, Frank.
I'd like to say in your behalf that we communicate not regularly, but when we do, we come up with a lot of information to share and new tactics that they use over there and new tactics that they use over here. Things have stayed pretty much the same here. But go ahead. All right, we've got another question for you. This is
all right, go on.
Huggy Bear or Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
Huggy Bear.
Yeah, hi, Richard. Welcome. Warmly welcome. I'm sorry that you're going through it over there. This is a global military effort, and it's run by artificial intelligence. And, big global companies like BAE, Lockheed Martin is a big one. The intelligence agents around the world have put us on this. And Black Ops are running behind the scenes with military scientific kind of simulations. And the CIA, the MI6, it's a joint effort. And they're testing these weapons. I get helicopters too, like you said, so you're not alone. Yeah. And I'm a 5'2" little lady. I'm so sorry. Nobody should go through this. It is. I know a TI in New Zealand. It's a guy. He used to work for DARPA here in America, in Virginia, outside Washington, D.C. He had to flee for his life. and I lost touch with him. I have no idea what happened to him. I think about him often. There was another one over there in Belgium. I forget what happened to him. But have you met? Is there a lot of targets over there in Europe? I know they're over in England.
I haven't really met. Well, I've met targets before, but I'm not too sure if they're real targets because my thoughts are getting broadcast.
Yeah.
And if my thoughts are getting broadcast, then they're hearing it too. People around me are reacting, so they're obviously hearing my mind as well. So I'm not too sure if they're just, putting on a show and pretending they're targets and not targets to make me feel, less isolated and alone, or not. But essentially, we're all going to be targets. So unless this ends,
I agree.
even the general population are going to be targets. They're all getting brain mapped as we speak. Their minds are getting read as well. And this AI that they're designing, just to constantly loop over and over the same old rubbish, accusations, excuses, this, that, question. It's just, it's like constant loop every day. It's psychological torture.
It is.
Do you find that it's the same basic loop every day, or do you find some changes according to what's going on?
It's pretty much the same loop. They've got the AI, and then they've got where they turn the AI off and come in themselves. All the voices they use are fake. I can control the voices as well as them, even the female ones, and I'm male. Sometimes you turn yourself against yourself. They've got lots of deep tactics you can use. On the general public, they use deep psychology and brainwashing techniques on them, as well as me. I've noticed them, push thoughts into children's heads, toddlers' heads. I've noticed them, have little toddlers run past, laughing, they raped me too, thinking it's a game, and then, controlling the hand of one walking past me, it's just, it's gone beyond the joke. They're doing this, and they're just, getting away with it, and, right before my eyes. And then they pretend, we're helping children, but they're shite. They just want to mind control everyone. They just want, to get everyone in this fascism for social control, and their excuses are, it's social engineering, it's psycho-civilized society we're trying to create, it's transhumanization, it's for a better world, but it's not, it's... You just want control. You just want money, control, and power. That's all they want. It's just to have full mind control over civilization and take over countries from the inside out.
You see that too. I see for years now, and I see it more and more, the public, everybody's targeted. They could target anybody. And they're, like you said, they're controlling the minds of others to perpetrate us. Yeah. And not all TI see it, and the perception is altered. And I feel so sorry for targets that live in an apartment-type complex situation because they're so overwhelmed with neighbors and all perpetrating them that they don't have time to sit and think a minute of what they're actually seeing. And so it goes to show that those behind the scenes that are behind it, they have no, I don't see how they can have any respect for themselves, much less humanity, Yeah.
I mean, the push words, they've got things that trigger me, such as, stimming me in front of children, or they push, their common verbal phrases through someone else, like forced speech. And the people think it's them because they're not experienced, but I know it's not, because that's exactly the exact same word it is they use on me with their psychobabble. It's frustrating, but as soon as I think of it, they become aware. I've witnessed them make people fall off bikes, walk in my path, everything from toddlers to adults, to elderly. They hit homeless hostels. They don't really care. They don't really care about humanity.
No, they don't.
They just want to control it.
Right.
Like CIA dictatorship or something. Control the people, control the nation strategy. They're trying to take over the world like some Italian stuff.
Don't interrupt, Chris.
Yeah. There's like a machine to human interface going on, and like Frank was asking, like the pattern, I don't know if you see it, but it'll depend on what I see, what someone else says to me, and I've spoken with other targets. We'll get targeted if we just want to talk about our targeting to each other, and then it'll use what that target said to me and target me with that in the next day or so. Do you get anything like that?
Yeah, they're always using different types of strategies. They're always, changing their tune. At the minute, my strategy, what they're doing with me is they seem to be like using me for my brain through the day for some sort of like transformation, I don't know. Using me through the day, and then at night time, they, induce artificial anger through me, like clear my emotions and make me mad, and, try and paint me as a bad guy at the end, and then they loop it the next morning. They forget all of that, and then nice again, and then use me again for a full day, and then do the same again. That seems like to be their strategy at the minute. But, they keep on changing their strategies all the time. It's like, it's trafficking, it's torture, trafficking, slavery, it's kidnapping, it's international war crimes, International war criminals, what they are. They're not going to get away with it. I've connected to the world. I've got this information out, and as I say, as long as we push, EMF triangulation out there and get it big, they'll be caught. They'll find out who's operating the machinery, who owns it, and other nations value their national security, and that people will not stand for it. There's nations that respect human rights, don't abuse them, because only monsters would abuse human rights, people which are inhumane, it's like, what? And then they try and blame the victim for their own, blame the victim for their own abuse, which is narcissistic abuse. It's like, you can't blame a victim for their own abuse. If they're guilty of something, lock them up. Give them a fair trial. Give them a sentence. I'd rather that, go for it.
If you go into the store and you buy, you go in to buy something and you shoot someone, you're going to be apprehended and you're going to be put in jail and possibly put to death. So with this crime, they get away with it until they don't. When we catch them, they'll be rounded up by the hordes.
Exactly. And they'll be caught. I think the time's coming where, it's coming to a close. All that technology, has been exposed. Around the world in many different countries. My only worry is it's going to trigger a war. With this election stuff going on, I'm just hurry up, bid and get in, make some changes. Otherwise, the last 4 years of me, it's been hell. And Trump, he knows about it, and he hasn't done anything to stop it. There's thousands of targeted individuals in America. It's probably more targeted individuals in America than there are in the world combined. And Trump's done nothing to protect them, nothing, their abuse continues. They're still getting used, still getting experimented on like guinea pigs, and he's done nothing. So hopefully, once Nazi Trump's removed, the Biden comes in, hopefully some changes. You know, new administration, people get arrested, hope. Otherwise, it's going to be a war, unfortunately.
Yes, I agree. And do you feel that, okay, do the voices that you hear, are they in your native tongue?
Yeah, they use British voice programs here.
Okay.
What about you? Do they use British voice programs with you, or do they use American ones?
No, American. And I know a Filipino woman, and they actually use her native language, which they call
they're all voice programs. They're all fake voice programs, you know.
Right.
If I can control the female ones, you know, you can just think, well, a Psy soldier from any country in the world could also control that voice. You know, so that's what they call these people in the hive mind teams. They call them Psy soldiers, because the military, they connect to the person and try and, you know, overwhelm his thoughts and pretend to him or her, and, you know, flash images and say, that's him. But no, it's not. And then, you know, if you can't escape in the sanctuary of your own mind for privacy, then what do you have? I mean, are they just going to watch everyone have sex or masturbate or take showers? Because everyone's getting read, just because they're not getting broadcast. You might be in that big television room. So it's not just a targeted individual problem anymore. It's now a general population problem. And the people need to wake up, because
Carl Sagan had a number that was more often.
Sorry?
Yeah. That's me. I interrupted you by accident. But I have a saying. It's actually on the About Us page of Targeted Massachusetts. And it says, no one should be able to probe an individual's mind against their will. We should not permit it with a court order. We should not permit it for military or national security. We should not permit it under coercive circumstances, even though using it may serve the public good. And I have that right on our About Us page.
Exactly. Well, their strategy, you know, as soon as they start, you know, with a new target individual, is to criminalize them first and stealth, and then they move in, and, you know, blame them for stuff they were never responsible for in the first place. You know, they were coerced, they were mind controlled, and, you know, they were never to blame. Me personally, I was targeted at the age of 2 years old, you know, forced through, you know, care homes for conditional programming or grooming. You know, monarch style programming, you know.
I just wanted to interrupt. Since the year 2000, and especially 2006, we'll say, or since the BRAIN initiative started by Barack Obama, that's when this really started to gear up. And the numbers...
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say the number of TIs increased exponentially, and the number of perps as well, I guess.
Yeah.
You can speak, if you would like, Richard. I'll be back like in 1 minute. Can you do that?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, sure. So, you know, conditioned at such a young age, monarch style programming, they've, you know, stole my entire life. And, you know, when they first started, they showed themselves to me in 2014 in Barcelona, when they first started using voice programs. And then I realized, well, what's going on here? You know, I was shocked, and then I started hearing my name in music, saying like, Richie, if I could see him. And, you know, I was so shocked at what was happening. I thought it was just heat stroke. And then it came back when I returned home to England and started again. I was like, well, I'm going to heat stroke now. And I tested my own mind first. I was like, well, these voices aren't, you know, even my linguistics. You know, the same words which I don't know the meaning of yet. Or, you know, or speaking in a way that I wouldn't speak to myself in. And voices which I've never heard before, which I don't, you know, recall from memory, and these sort of things, rapidly came to a conclusion that, well, this isn't me. And it didn't take me long to, you know, start working out the sonics part. I thought I'd run away from my mother's to, you know, for sanctuary, and they followed me. I ended up getting taken away in a black tinted van with three military intelligence officers and a police officer driving, where they legally imprisoned me in a hospital for a month while they run more experiments on me, and they filled the hospital full of acid. I managed to get out of that, and, you know, my investigation's been going on for 6.4 years of, you know, 24/7 torture and abuse, and, you know, always blaming me for stuff. And I went back, you know, after so much thinking about what they were doing, and this just took me so long, and working out all the technology and then reflecting on my life and saying, well, hold on a minute, you know, like, me and my little brother were split up in first school. I went through this path. I was, you know, isolated here. This happened. Then, you know, you start reflecting on your life when you're young, and you're like, well, that was normal. That wasn't normal. That wasn't normal. And it all starts clicking together that, hold on here, my whole life's been directed by these monsters. And, you know, and then you learn about monoprogramming and all these different methods, and you realize, well, you just kidnapped my entire life. And then you've just tortured me. You've trafficked me and sold me into other countries for money. You've used me and abused me. And you've went under the cover of, like, you're a pedophile weapon. And I'm like, and then you accuse me of being one. And I'm like, well, I'm not one. And how could I be a weapon if I was one? You know, so it's a bit, you know, ambiguous. And it's like, you know, they're just constantly arguing the point of, you know, trying to make excuses all the time for doing it. It's like, no, you're a bad man, you deserve it, you deserve this, you deserve that. But how could I deserve anything if you were there at the age of 2 years old and you directed my life? What I say to them is like, do you blame the puppet for the painting, or do you blame the guy holding the strings? You can't blame the puppet for the painting. So at the end of the day, they're trying to blame someone for their international war. You know, I've written to every single country. I've written to national football.
Oh, we're losing you, Richie, a little bit.
Human Rights Court.
You gotta move back.
Big time. And so, sorry?
I'm here.
Yeah, so, you know, I've been around the world where they've, you know, cloned me to big places. And
Okay, you need to get back to that sweet spot because we're losing you.
So, yeah, so I keep on getting accused of being like the devil as well, or Jesus. Keep on, you know, hit me with that as well. You're Jesus. Oh no, you're the devil, because the devil would say they were Jesus. And then, okay, I'm the devil. You can't be the devil because the devil's female. It says female, you can't be the devil. And I'm like, okay, but you just said I was. No, you're Jesus. You know, and I just go back and forth like that, and I'm like, well, hold on. I can't be Jesus, he's dead, and I can't be the devil because that was Lucifer and that was Jesus' wife, Mary Magdalene. But they keep on accusing me of both anyway.
Yeah,
But-
that's what they do. If you're Protestant, they'll say you're Catholic. If you're Catholic, they'll say you're Protestant. And back and forth from religion to ethnicity, they just go back and forth.
Yeah, it just keeps you on a constant like track. And if all that fails, then you're back to that, and then you're not that, and then you can't be that. It's like backwards, and then their excuse is, oh, we need you to fight it, and I'm like, well, you just want me to keep on talking to you. You just want me to waste my time and keep everyone distracted while you expand your weapons of mass destruction around the world like some sort of totalization campaign, taking over countries from within. What people don't understand is these weapons can be used in unlimited different ways. I mean, you could start riots in countries, for example, by angering, using anger rate on certain parts of that city. You can give someone flu symptoms. They've given me, the corona symptoms, which was a big mistake in Glasgow, where I've just come from. And they made a mistake by trying to initiate, corona-type symptoms on me, which I've kind of got the ability of my body to push off me. But by doing that, I'm broadcasting me, they showcased it to a lot of people, and that they can initiate, corona-19 symptoms on people, and when they did that to me, I noticed the people around me also got the symptoms. So that's what I say, like, if you're cloning someone's flu, then what happens?
Yeah, that's a very interesting hypothesis, and it's quite an answer.
Well, I've witnessed, they've done this to me, and they give me like the tight chest and the thingy, and then they force my nose to run as well, and they can force tears in my eyes and force me to sneeze, and it affects everyone around me. So if they do it to me, it actually affects them too. Then I think of a video of this Chinese guy just standing there and then, falling flat on his face, and I'm like, well, yeah. It's not normal,
No,
not
at all.
But anyway, that's what that is. And, targeting visual matching the COVID-19 map identically,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not too sure what's happening with that.
Yeah. We have this election over here, and that's cut into our evening here, some of it.
Yeah.
Because, Mr. Biden is supposed to give some kind of speech tonight, but he's no, that's quite all right.
No problem. Well, I'm gonna have to go soon anyway, because remember, I'm 5 hours ahead of you, so it's quite
that's right.
late here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to get some sleep for tomorrow. But
Okay.
as far as elections concerned, I know it's trouble over there in America. There's a lot of riots and people, lots of different things happening. I mean, I've read that people are dancing, the Biden's winning, and then I've heard that people are getting guns and such, like, over Trump losing, and
Yeah.
it's like, so I don't know what's going to happen over there, but I wish you all the best over there in the States anyway. And, bless you all, and,
Well, thank you,
let's
Richard.
hope everything turns out for the best. I will keep an eye on it. I'll keep in touch with you, Frank.
Okay. Until next time, then.
Yep.
God bless.
So, good evening, and goodbye.
Bye, sir, and get a good night's sleep.
You too. Bye.
Bye now.
The president, and now they're turning to Trump, asking him to concede.
They're putting pressure on us. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
give him an election and then more. And then they never have to get to 270. Nor do they have to deal with the.
Okay, unmute yourselves, those of you who would like to speak. *6, and that will do it if you're on a telephone. When you come out of Q&A, it unmutes the whole room, and there's a lot of people that don't want to be unmuted. Hi, Richard. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, Frank. I hope you are, and thanks for the interview. Interesting to hear from anyone other than in America. We don't hear much from those. I got a good chance to talk to Miss Australia the other night, and
yeah,
it's just curious to hear what's going on over there too, and pretty much is the same.
Yeah, I have a couple of individuals that are from other countries that we'll be interviewing, and one of them may be Japan. So I hope the individual can cut the English language. I mean, to write is one thing, to speak is another. So I'm going to try that out shortly.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Okay, we have 49 people here. The rest are in front of the television set, I imagine, and watching Mr. Biden. I have a lot of trouble with that. I'm not going to talk about it, but it really pisses me off.
Yeah, it's a kind of a sensitive subject these days, and well, we just have to wait and see and do the best we can.
Yeah, I'll just say one thing. I think they printed those bloody ballots, and I think they've been there for over a year. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, we know it's not like the good old days. Yeah.
No, there were people that were appointed to watch that, and they were kept 100 feet away. So, and why do places like California, all of a sudden, without even any kind of thought of a recount or anything, they click on blue, and the whole state of California goes blue. Okay, so what that tells me? That tells me that's the state I would check out. I would check for, and they say they count their mail-in votes in advance. Fine, let's recount them all. And I bet you're going to see some really interesting stuff if you did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Massachusetts clicks, we just go blue. Connecticut goes blue. Within 3 minutes of each other, and it aggravates the hell out of everybody, I'll tell you that. I've spoken to a lot of people today, and a lot of people agree with me that they should do the election over. A redo for Mr. Trump. And I think you'll see a very different type of election if that were to happen. But that's what I think should happen, a redo for Mr. Trump, because it's quite clear from the beginning that they did not like him. They tried to impeach him. They tried to run him out of office. They tried to burn him with the Russians, and the people that did so were caught. Then we have the China Biden incident with his son, and of course that gets brushed under the carpet now. Now you can go over to the premier of China and grab a few $1 million from his wife, no problem. No biggie. But anyway, we have 53 people here. You need to get a fresh cup of coffee, and you guys can enjoy. And I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. So has anybody noticed any bad targeting in the last couple of days? Well, besides myself.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm targeted every day, all day long. So it's kind of like the new norm. It's pretty hardcore. I'm under the remote neural monitoring program, brain initiative, stuff they got going on. So yeah, I mean, I get hit pretty hard every single day from everybody. It's starting to become normal when it should not be normal.
Yeah, there's nothing normal about having to suffer every day and every night. And
right, I'm 24/7 V2K, telepathy. Everybody knows what I'm thinking. Even it's starting to get to the point where it's before I'm even thinking something, somebody can actually say what I'm about to say. And it's kind of getting to be the new norm. So if what I'm thinking and what I'm going to say, everybody else says or does, am I a trendsetter? Is that what you call a trendsetter? Like everybody wants to be like me? I don't know. So you got to kind of think of it in a different capacity at some point in time. Just saying.
Well, it's connected to the entrainment of yourself and others around you. And
right, so if everybody else wants to say what I'm going to say, you know what, I'm trying to flip this on them. I'm basically controlling them. They're really not controlling me anymore, because they're basically following what I do. So, I mean, that's another way you can actually look at this. It's telepathy and remote neural monitoring. They want to know what I'm thinking, what I'm going to say, and they want to copy me. Well, you know what? I might be actually training them, and they're not training me anymore.
Well, except that you're not controlling yourself. Someone else is doing that for you most of the time.
They can control me to some point. The remote neural monitoring and attachment that they have to me, and trying to manipulate, certain things. Yeah, they can control those, but they can't control my character. And I think that's like one of the things that they find intriguing in me, is that I'm a little bit different, and I don't know, like the people that I see that are out there gang stalking me, and they know where I'm going to be and what I'm going to do and what I'm thinking, and they can repeat me. I think about it a little bit differently. It's definitely wrong. But they have tons of people that are copying me, and they're trying to be like me. So you know what? I'm not going to think of it as in them trying to mock me and try to intimidate me. Flipping the switch right now where, hey, I'm controlling you, because guess what? You're getting paid a shitload of money to try to find me. So you guys are trying to find me. You're trying to talk like me, be like me. And, yeah, you're basically a waste of time and space. And you're a waste of everything. You have nothing to say that can actually intrigue my mind. It's like random bullcrap that you're doing, and you're not using your own brain. You're actually being manipulated by somebody else. So yeah, we are ultimately being manipulated in some way, and people are being manipulated to act like us and try to think like us. And I don't know, like, to me that seems like everybody wants to be like me all of a sudden. Why? I don't know. They think that they're going to try to break me down. Yeah, it's not going to happen, because they're going to end up spending a lot of fucking money to do that shit. And they're going to, it's a waste of government spending. It's a waste of people's times. And these people they're not true to who they really are, and they don't want to be themselves. So it's like they want to be like somebody else. Everybody wants to be like Mike, Michael Jordan. So yeah, I'm thinking this is basically kind of what it's falling down to, but they're getting paid to try to be like somebody else. And
yeah, it's called humanity, trying to map humanity to know everything there is about humanity. But in fact, if you open a book, and you may know that book very well, but just for conversation's sake, every time you turn a page, the back of the page is missing. Going to be a little hard to understand the complete meaning of the book with every page you turn having a missing page. And that's the MK Ultra that people don't seem to realize is, there's pieces and parts missing because of the tampering of our minds. That's why we have so much trouble remembering things. They don't really mess with much the long-term memory, but mostly the short-term, and that causes a lot of memory problems.
So these people that are like so-called gang stalking, and I've broken down gang stalking into a science which doesn't really break down the individual that is actually gang stalking. It's what they're doing. So I'm really not hating on the actual individual themselves, but on the actual character that they're actually playing inside of this gang stalking type of mentality. And like, I'm like, man, I want to, like, I don't know. Are these like really, I really don't want to classify these people as stupid, or dumb, or very I don't know how to put it. Like being able to be controlled by other people. Like, I mean, like you really have to look at the situation, what they're doing, and when they're doing it, and it's like they're a bunch of freaking idiots, and they think it's fun. But if you could get inside their brain, which I've gotten inside of multiple people's brains when they have been gang stalking me, and that's when they don't know how to react. It's kind of like they actually lost themselves somewhere along the line of actually taking a part of, this sinister type of activity. It's like, and they're actually scared. You can just look them right in the eyes, and they can't even. They know they're doing something wrong, and they just look away, or they're just like, "Wow, this is actually pretty intense for me as well." This is, it's psychological on us, definitely 100%. But yeah, it's 100%. It's more than 100% psychological on them, because they know that they're doing something wrong, and it's gonna. I mean, this is gonna wear on the people that are actually doing this stuff. I mean, it's gonna be more mental breakdown of them than of us, and that's my feeling about it. I mean, I'm a pretty strong-headed person. I'm a very good judge of character. I'm a very willing and helping person, and I can see a person in need, and I will help them out, whatever way I can. I'm a very fun person, and I'm a very, I don't know, I'm just, goofy. I like to make people smile. I like to do, all this, good stuff. That's just my nature. And just actually being around these people that don't have this nature. Your nature is who you are. That will never. If you're being gang stalked, you will still be the same person that you always were. They cannot take your soul away from you. And that's something that the Lord has given you, and it will never be taken away. But them doing something sinister and doing this, I mean, that they're going to be basically thinking about this stuff, and it's going to wear on them. And I'm kind of yeah, we are being gang stalked, and we're, being tormented and tortured every single way, but these people are just playing a part, and I really don't think that they understand how much it's going to weigh on them mentally later on. Because, once this is out in the open and they know that they were a part of it, and, they might have been coerced into it, they might have been bribed into it, the mental state is going to change. It's going to flip so bad, because obviously they're taking people, and they're trying to take the toughest, maybe the smartest. I don't know how they choose us, but they're picking people for certain reasons, and the people that are actually doing the bad against the people that are good and enduring the pain, we're still going to be the same people that we were prior to being tackled by this sinister type of setup. I mean, we're not going to change. Like, we're going to be good people regardless. We're going to be good-hearted. We're always going to, like, we're probably the people that are good, and even when somebody hurts us, we tend to still try to be good and still try to help out the person that was trying to hurt us. That's my take on, what they're doing. These people, I mean, they're going to have to live with this shit for the rest of their lives. And me, I'm going to have to live with, hey, man, I still kept trying to be, nice to you, and I stepped up and I helped you out when you were doing that street theater and trying to hurt me and trying to get, and you didn't know how to react, and you didn't know this or that or the other. I was still my person when everybody out there was gang stalking me, trying to hurt me, trying to destruct my property, trying to, break into my home. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, I know who broke into my home. Do I believe they were a good person? Yeah, I believe, the people that broke into my home, they were good people. But, yeah, I mean, they were just all part of a process, and they're going to have to live with that for the rest of their life, that they are 100%, being controlled. But we actually have a soul. We have a will, and that will not change us. Like, yeah, we are the
Kevin.
Yes.
Is it Kevin? Is it Kevin?
You can call me Kevin. Yes.
Okay. All right. Listen, Kevin, I think that you're looking at the local picture as far as what's going on. This is, as you probably know, bigger than all of us, except if we're collectively together. And from what I understand and from what I've read, it's the what is it? The WHO, the World Health Organization. His name is Klaus Schwab. He's a German, and which I'm not surprised by. Germans seem to have are inbred to control, very controlling people. Anyway, from what I understand, he's the head of this whole thing. And I mean, there's 196 countries that have signed on to this Agenda 30. And from what I understand, it's they believe in sustainability. And what they're saying by sustainability is the ability of the population to be sustained by the environment. That's what they mean by sustainability. And they feel that there are 6 billion more people on the planet than should be. So they want to get rid of all of us any way they can.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, you're kind of talking about
2/3.
Like a Marvel, like Infinity Wars. Like, I don't know if you saw the Marvel type of things. I think this is more than that. I think this is more basically certain blood types, certain personalities, certain
No, it's everybody. They want to get rid of everybody.
No,
that has nothing to do with your blood type. It has nothing to do with your religion. They want you to think that, but it's not true. It's everybody. This is why you've heard of NSA, right? You've heard of NSA?
we can agree to disagree, and that's fine with me.
Have you heard of NSA?
Memoir, that's a little too loud, hon.
Have you? Is that better?
That's fine.
Have you heard of NSA, the National Security? I forget what the A meant, but anyway, where they're collecting all the data on everybody.
I'm sorry. What does NSA stand for? I'm sorry.
National Security. What? What's the A stand for? Everybody.
Agency.
Agency. National Security Agency. The intelligence surveillance by the government. It's intelligence agencies, all right, and they all affiliated with the National Security Agency, and they store their data. They're taking data on everybody and storing it. Everything that you do electronically, they're storing. And the reason they're doing this is because they want a record of everything. Every thought you have, every experience you've had, they want the whole schmeal on it so that they can program this into artificial intelligence. Because artificial intelligence is going to have to deal with humans, and they have to be programmed to know how humans think and act in order to interact with humans.
Right, and that's why I brought up the fact that not everybody is targeted, okay?
Everybody is targeted. Some are over it, some are over it. They don't know it yet. And some are covert. Well, I mean, some are over it. They know about it, and the covert ones don't know about it yet. We are over it. We know what's going on.
Like I said, we can agree to disagree at points and times during.
Everybody's data is being collected. Everybody.
In some form and fashion. Other people's data is being collected in different types of way, and that's something we need to keep in mind.
Why?
Because not everybody is being remote neurally monitored. Not everybody has a chip that's attached to their neurological system and can report back to a base station somewhere where people are actually, collecting this data and transferring it and deciphering it. Okay, so yeah, like I said, certain people are being truly targeted in certain ways. Some people are just being targeted by, stuff that they're Googling on their phones, stuff that they're, doing on the internet, their transactions with their credit cards. And then there's more serious stuff, like truly targeted individuals like me. All right, and maybe like you. I don't know what your situation is, but yeah, I think you're.
But all their targeting, all their making you do different things. Go here, do there, get angry, yell at the moons, break things. This is all done for reactions. They're documenting that.
Yeah, basically, it's they send a stimuli at you for
right. Correct. Thank you for the word stimuli. They stimulate you.
We know that, but they can, depending upon how you were truly targeted. We already know all the information that goes over the internet that is digital is basically being recorded. We understand that, and yeah. We know that, but then there's the targeting,
right?
That is absolutely, basically becoming torture. All right.
Right.
So, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking
Have
about.
you wondered why they're torturing us? Why of it?
And that is what I was trying to talk about before you cut me off earlier.
Oh, well.
So, yeah, like your background, like
they're torturing you because of your background.
Your background, your like who you are, as far as who you are, your DNA, your blood type, yes. Those are things that they look at because it's not only a data type thing, it's also a scientifical type thing. Hence,
yes, I agree with you. They're using each one of us in multifaceted ways.
Right.
There are a lot of research laboratories all over the world that is punched into our data.
Right, but not everybody is targeted in the same way. All right. And for your background, like where your grandparents came from, where your ancestors, were you part of a certain bloodline? What age group are you in? Are you male or female? I mean, these are all factors. Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to say earlier, and you said no. So now you're saying right. So
well, okay. Maybe I misunderstood what you meant then. I know that people are put in different sections as far as research is concerned.
Yeah, basically, you're profiled at some point in time.
Right.
Correct. So they have your profile.
That's why a lot of men that I know at Targets have been approached with a pedophile stimulus, and just to see if they go for it, and that's logged in. In other words, they're getting an outline of your profile, of your personality, of your habits, of your wants, whether you'll fall for this crime. They want to check out their pre-crime log, see, for AI, punch that into AI, see how good their pre-crime, how AI would use pre-crime. This person would do this, so do whatever you want to them, torture them or jail them or kill them. No? Yes? Maybe? What?
I don't know. What's your background? What's your
college?
Are you Italian? Are you Irish? Are you German? Are you?
I'm Irish. I'm probably the whitest person you know.
Yeah, I don't know about that because I grew up and people called me Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Right.
So, I'm just trying to make a joke right now.
Oh, well, most of my heritage is Irish and kind of from the north. I think there's Swedish and Viking and, that type of French. I don't have any of the darker relatives. So funny. When I saw my DNA, I was like, wow, I'm really white. Anyway, what else? Why did you ask that?
I don't know, because I was doing some research on my background, and I'm basically French, Italian, English, and Irish. So I'm kind of mixed, but I kind of hold this pale, pasty white type look to me. So I can't get a tan.
It's your Irish skin.
It might be. It might also be.
Oh yeah, Irish are really white.
Welsh or English. Yeah, and then what that brings in is your blood type. I'm A negative, so I've got the Rh negative blood factor to me, and I've been researching stuff online with targeted individuals and certain kind of bloodlines, and yeah, I mean it kind of makes sense because they're not just targeting one. When they're doing this research, they're kind of looking at everybody, so they need
right.
A lot of data from a lot of different groups and backgrounds and different profiles of people,
right.
To actually conduct these experiments on you. So yeah, I mean,
There's a girl that goes on YouTube, and she is a computer whiz, and she's finding out who exactly has access to her information as a target. And she's finding that there are labs all over the world. She has found, and she says that, now I don't know if this is true or not, but she says all targeting data goes through what's the one in Washington D.C., the university that Giordano works for, Georgetown University. All information goes through Georgetown University. Now, I was reading the NSA papers that Assange and Snowden released, and in that it said that the Five Eyes, which is New Zealand, Australia, the United States, Canada, and the UK, all have top priority as far as access to all this NSA data. But it also stated, which kind of shocked me, that all this data is funneled through Israel for analysis. I don't know if that's... I read it. I read it in the NSA papers.
Right, so, hey, Frank, are you on the line right now?
Oh yeah, I'm always here.
Hey, Frank, can we kind of get a anonymous study of blood types actually published onto your website? Is that a possibility?
Yeah,
if
sure.
People want to volunteer and go out. I know you can find out your blood type through the American Red Cross, et cetera, et cetera. This would actually be like something kind of interesting to see the people that that are actually targeted and what their actual blood type might be, because your blood type really tells a lot about your background, and not about your background as you as an individual, but where you actually came from. So
Wouldn't
I think
that just be the DNA?
Well, there's different. I don't know if you know like a lot about the blood types, but the negative, the Rh negative blood types.
Yeah.
They're kind of limited, and it's kind of like it's the most needed blood in the world for these individuals, because 15% of the world has it's called the rhesus factor, it's the Rh negative, and the people that have like a negative blood type are less susceptible to certain diseases and certain things. So with that being said, it's like, why does 15% of our world have this actual blood type, and then 85% has the positive blood type? So
that's an interesting question, isn't it?
It is, and it's like from what the research I've been actually like listening to and looking at, it's kind of like it's like some people say it's an alien type of blood type because only 15% of the world has it, and there's like one colony in Europe that actually has the most of this Rh negative blood type in the whole entire world. So it just comes out of one place. But it would be actually interesting to find out, people's blood types. I mean, that's something that you need to know about.
I think that Rh negative is not a good thing. I have people in my family who have it, and it can cause miscarriages. And
there's a reason for that, and I'll explain the reason for that. It's because
well, hang on. I just want to say one other thing, and the other thing that I think that it can be responsible for too is retardation.
Right, and that's part of it, because if the mother is Rh negative and the baby is positive,
right?
Yes, the mother has a chance for death, or the mother's immune system will actually attack the baby and the baby can die. So it can go either way. So it's kind of like something that's alien. Blood is blood. So I mean that's definitely something that you kind of need to look at. Like, why is this happening? Why are only 15% of this whole entire world negative? And
well, it basically turns the blood into an autoimmune disease. To my way of thinking, that because the first baby, the mother is Rh negative, will be a success. Usually, is a successful birth. The second pregnancy is when the I can't remember the word. Autoimmune goes into effect, and it will attack the second pregnancy and cause a miscarriage. I've seen this in my family. I've also seen this with with females in my family. There's 3 or 4 of them that have this problem.
Right, so basically what I can do is, I can send you guys, like, Frank, if this is okay with you, can I email you a bunch of these links on this Rh?
You certainly can. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can mail them to frank@targetedmassachusetts.org.
All right, that sounds good. Frank,
so you think Rh negative is alien?
It's just, you have 85% of the world that has, a positive blood type, and then 15% is negative. It's like, and the different types of negatives, that percent actually just builds up into, I mean, you have A negative, B negative, AB negative. I mean, you have, it's kind of complicated. If you actually listen to a lot of these people.
You've explored each of those and have seen what they do to the human body through a positive or a negative effect?
Well, what they say is
Who is they?
Like a bunch of doctors and people that have been researching the Rh negative factor. What they've been saying is that we're less likely to get like a whole list of diseases. Like we're kind of like immune to like a ton of diseases. So our bodies are immune to them. I can get you a list.
Just a couple off the top of your head, if you can remember them, would be.
I don't have anything in front of me right now, so I'm not going to just blurt off something that I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, what they were saying was, that negative blood type, we're kind of immune to certain diseases, and the 85% of the world, they're getting certain types of cancer, they're getting this, certain types of infections. But the Rh negative, that one factor, we don't. So, and we're not susceptible to certain types of diseases, and that's what they've been figuring out.
Interesting.
And that's why I'm saying, like, I would love to know everybody that's a targeted individual. What is your blood type? Are you A negative? Are you B negative? Are you have that negative factor?
You wouldn't even have to. Oh, so you want to know what's specific to the targeting community, if that's a marker for being a target?
Yes, that would be 100% awesome. Like just
as a matter of fact, quite a few people over the years have took the time to interview and ask the questions pertaining to targeted people's blood type, and the majority of the people are in the negative factor, but there are many of the others too. So we've been doing that. We've been doing that for a lot of years.
So with that being said, the whole remote neural monitoring thing, with me, being negative, they might be doing research on my body, like why doesn't he eats like this? Like I can eat any certain way. Like I can eat foods and just all protein and high in fat and this, that, and the other. Like I don't have a good diet, but I'm still healthy, like 100%. I mean.
How old are you?
I'm in my early 40s.
Yeah, well, it'll catch up with you. It always does.
Well, I mean, it's just something interesting to just throw out there.
I live in a community of old people, and these people have, a lot of them are alcoholics. A lot of them have had hard lives. A lot of them are have devastating illnesses. Diabetes is rampant through this community, and I look at them, and they're all overweight. They're all out of shape. I'm sure their diets growing up were terrible, and they didn't have the wherewithal to give themselves a good diet. But I'm telling you, I took care of myself when I was young, and I always worked out. I always tried to balance, meat with vegetables, always had a healthy diet. And you know something? I moved into this community, and a lot of these people hate my fucking guts. You know why? Because I'm still in good shape. I still have always worked out, and they're very jealous of it. I've kept my weight down. That's a major factor. Keep your weight down. And these people hate me. Hate me. Jealous. Their husbands are acting like fools. If they're disgusted with their wives because they were all out of shape and they were all look like these great big bean bags, and the men do too. But some of the men feel pretty frisky, and the women hate me for it. And I don't give a fuck, you know? It's not my fault. Take care of yourself. Nobody else will.
Well, I've been, like, over the past couple of years, I've been basically going through different kinds of diets. Like, I tried the paleo diet, which is basically like the caveman diet. You know, you just eat nuts, berries, and, you know, fruits, vegetables with no rice, no pasta, no cheese. That was like the best I've ever felt and looked. But then I've also done diets where I eat when I'm hungry. I don't have to eat 3 meals a day. I don't have to gorge myself with food to make myself feel good. I just eat, you know, what I...
Do you want me to tell you the secret to health? You know how to be healthy? You go out and you walk as far and as hard as you can in a half hour, and then do the same on the way back. That'll give you an hour. And make sure that you sweat. Make sure that you sweat really hard. And you won't have to worry about the rest of it. What?
Yeah, staying active is definitely part of...
Yeah, you got to walk every day. Walking is the best exercise in the world for you and for your body, because it doesn't, you know, it doesn't put as much stress on you as running or, you know, and strength, work out with a little bit of weight. You know, we're supposed to be hunter-gatherers, you know. We had to put an enormous amount of time into looking for food. That's why a lot of us are overweight today.
And a lot of people actually, you know, they have this whole, you know, 2,000 calorie per day diet that they want to kind of instill in you. I don't believe you need 2,000 calories. I think you need the calories that are actually right for you, because if you're not that active, you don't need that many calories. So, I mean, what we've been told in the past is eat 3 square meals a day with these many servings of starches and vegetables and meats and fruits and, you know, whatever. I really don't think that's like the best way to go. I think it is your body can actually tell you like when you need to eat and what you need to eat. Because I get cravings for certain different foods.
Right.
And I mean, it's basically my body's telling me I need something. It's missing, but my body can actually find, you know, what foods I need to eat. I don't feel I need to eat 3 big meals a day to stay healthy. I think my body can actually, and my brain actually can tell me, you know, what I need to eat. When I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. When I'm not hungry, I'm not going to have an extra meal. If I don't have to eat 3 meals a day. There's been studies done that shows you, you know what, you eat what you need to eat. But what, you know, these doctors and scientists are telling us is something that's 100% different. And I don't go by what they're saying, because I've tried so many different diets in my lifetime, and I've done so many different types of workouts, cardio, weightlifting, et cetera, et cetera. It's everything that we've been told in the past, which this has nothing to do with being a targeted individual, but I mean.
Yeah, it does, because we have to protect and we have to work at our health and our weight and our physical, because it's under so much attack constantly all the time from radio frequencies. We have to pay a lot of attention to our body and how it's reacting to all of this that's going on with us. I don't know if that's in the equation of these research institutions. I'm sure it is. But that's a big deal with targets, is taking care of themselves, because nobody else will.
Well, through my V2K, I get told, drink water, drink more water. We're trying to program you. And I'm like, I'll drink water when I feel like I need to drink water. I'm getting told to, like, it's kind of like I'm definitely one of those science experiments that are, everything that's happening in my body is definitely getting reported back from my body to, whoever the handlers are and whoever the people that are doing the research on, the technology that they actually installed inside my body. I think I'm kind of like a hybrid, because my surgery was done in 2019, January 21st of 2019, and as soon as I came out of surgery, like, all my pain was gone. I had a C6 corpectomy, and I was supposed to have 2 rods put in my neck with a cadaver, possibly from my hip or from another human body. But after reviewing the X-rays, they didn't do the surgery that they said that they were going to do. And I asked my surgeon as soon as I came out of surgery the next day, I said, what is the name of the device, the make, the manufacturer, and the model of, the device that you put in my body? And he said, I don't know. So it was, okay. It was definitely, I'm like, you don't know what you put in my body. You're my surgeon, and you were in my body, and I was under anesthesia, and now my body is vibrating 24/7, and I have a high-pitched squealing noise going on, and you're messing with my vision and my hearing and all my bodily functions day by day. Yeah, it's going to throw up some red flags, and the fact that you call him out on it and you call him up and he won't respond to your phone calls, that's definitely a big red flag. Like, I'm upset.
What did you have the surgery? What did you have the surgery for?
I told you already, C6 corpectomy.
You said
so.
Right. But then you said that he didn't do it?
He did surgery, but he didn't do the surgery that he explained that he was going to do on me. So I ended up with some kind of a contraption right below my brain. It looks like a ginormous cage with some kind of a bug inside of it. it's ginormous. It's not 2 rods and a cadaver, because I actually went online and I pulled up that type of surgery, and yeah, it's definitely something different. So it's not what he.
All right.
And when I asked him what he put in my
Did you go
body,
to another
he said,
doctor and have it? Did you go to another doctor and have an X-ray?
well, I went to my family physician, and I basically asked for what you were just saying, and he said, "Oh, I can't do that." And I'm like, "Why?" And he said, "Because I can't just give you an X-ray for something." And I'm like, "I just told you what the X-ray was for," and he's like, "I can't do that." So basically, I was being denied, like treatment from a physician. And it wasn't just that once, but I also called up my surgeon again. He won't return my phone calls. And I didn't even call him out on it at that point in time. I was just trying to get his attention, and he would not respond to my calls. So, yeah, there was something dirty done.
Do you think that the device that he put in your neck was experimental as far as, I mean, it could be touching nerves.
No, it's definitely. So
Is it radio frequency?
It's a radio frequency. Yes, I've got a background in RF. I used to work for a wireless company, and I went out to a school out in the middle of the country for one of the biggest wireless companies in the United States. And they taught me a lot about RF and RF shielding and isolation from radio frequency and radio frequency testing. So I did that for multiple years on end. So yeah, I went out and I did get I guess it's a device to actually detect RF, and I hold it up to my neck, and it just starts beeping like crazy. So, and the way it's set up it will detect radio frequency coming out of your body. So, what they put in my body is actually, it's considered a transceiver. So it actually transmits and it receives a signal at the same time, but my surgeon doesn't know what he put inside of my body. So there, I mean.
Now, does this device work through the Wi-Fi?
I'm sure it can, but it's
because Dick Cheney has 3 hearts, right? He's had 3 surgeries for his heart, and the second one he had taken out because it was Wi-Fi enabled, and he was afraid somebody would hack it. So he had a 3rd heart put in. Had this second one taken out, the Wi-Fi capabilities. So I'm wondering if maybe, I'm sure this is how they're reading you. Do you have this vibration 24/7?
Yeah, it's 24/7, and the way I can tell is, all right. So you have to think about your nervous system as, it's basically sending a vibration throughout your whole entire body. But when you have something that's like an implant or something that's alien to the body, the people that are installing it, they're not going to know what is natural compared to unnatural, because it's definitely 100% experimental. So with that being said, they don't know what they're actually, they know what they're putting in your body, and they probably used it on lab rats and guinea pigs and monkeys and every single other animal out there, but they don't actually have like an individual to actually give them a response back to how this is actually feeling inside your body. And so,
in other words, you're a lab rat.
Yeah, I'm definitely a lab rat.
Well, I'm glad that you have that honor, and I don't. And to be honest with you, I think we're all lab rats. That's why I said NSA is downloading all our information, and that includes all this stuff. They want to know what's going on every level.
And you're right. So I'm basically transmitting and receiving the information that they're trying to make my body transmit back to maybe a 5G cell tower or a satellite or
right. They
whatever.
Just go through Wi-Fi if they want to do that.
Correct. They can go through Wi-Fi. There's a lot of different.
Let me tell you a story. My grandson was born in 1991, 93. And it was her second child, and she's Rh negative. I didn't know it. She didn't know it. But anyway, she started to miscarry. So what they did was they put this needle in her leg, and it was attached to a pump that she wore on a belt around her waist, and it was attached to the VCR. We had a VCR at the time, and the VCR was isolated to Boston Children's Hospital in Boston, and this was in 1993. So they isolated her, and what would happen is she would have
Did you say
contractions.
A VCR?
VCR.
Did you say so? Basically, video cassette recorder.
Yeah, and what happened was,
So you're talking about analog. So back then, that was basically an analog type of frequency.
So what they were doing is they were monitoring her through the VCR, through this belt, through this VCR, because she had to hook up to it several times a day, and they read her contractions through the VCR, through the cable, to the Boston Children's Hospital. We live about 20 minutes away from Boston. And what it would do is they would send a pulse through the cable, through the VCR, through the line, through the belt on her stomach, and into the pump, and through the needle, and it would send this medication that would stop the contractions. And they monitored her this way for 3 months. She had to go to bed for 3 months. Keep the baby. And he was born, and I think they used some type of medication that calmed her contractions, and I don't know what, but I know that it affected the baby. He was born extremely, he screamed a lot, and he was nervous, and he was like withdrawal from this medication.
All right. Well, I'm basically. I mean, that's like an analog form of monitoring. I'm basically 100% digital and wireless. So, I mean, whatever they.
The reason I told you that story was to tell you how long ago this type of technology was being used and how far it's developed now to a Wi-Fi situation. To me, that was pretty amazing back there in 1993.
Right, and I was basically agreeing with you the fact that now that I'm 100% digital, we went from analog to digital, that quickly. Yeah, I was basically agreeing with what you were saying.
Yeah, but what I was trying to tell you is that this technology is absolutely mind-blowing. So that happened back in 92.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
93.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, is Frank on the call?
Yes.
Frank, it's Dolly, and I hate to interrupt. I just sent you an email with an updated flyer. It's getting late here. I'm really going to have to. I hated to interrupt, but I just didn't see that there was going to be a time, that I could speak. But I sent an updated flyer, and also there's a few of us that are in the process of writing a letter, and it would be a letter that any person could use it for their state to send their representatives and their senators to try to get a bill in their, get a law in their state against these weapons. I'm hoping to send it out in the next week or so. And I say this, that anybody wants to get on board to do it, because next, January, they've already got bills ready that they want to implement, to get started to become a bill. So I think it's imperative that those that want to do this consider letting me know via their emails, or Frank, you have my contact information, and I can send them.
Can I ask you something?
Go
Is
ahead.
this bill specific to targeting stuff, gang stalking? I mean, is specific in this bill? Because from what I understand, there are already laws on the books against what we are going through, and to have another bill would just be redundant.
I cannot find the laws, and
I can send them to you.
Okay, please do, because we can't. No, I haven't found anybody that's found the laws against them. Now I know that Maine, Massachusetts, Missouri, and there's another state, I can't think of it.
Michigan
has laws. Michigan, thank you, Frank.
Michigan, yeah,
has laws against it, but I mean, I'm trying to get it in my state, and at least we can get it out there. Are you saying there's a law for the entire country?
I'm saying that for someone to assault you is against the law, and being assaulted with a baseball bat, a gun, or a directed energy weapons, it's still an assault. That's illegal.
I agree with you, but I kind of think we need at this point to actually state what is going on, all the different bills that have been out there, the different bills that have been out there trying to address this problem, showing the states that have taken it under wing to try to address the problem, and lawsuits. I mean, I'm throwing it all out there. I want people to know and to see what has gone on. Just putting it under assault, it needs a name. It needs its direct name, what it is.
No, wait a minute. In Massachusetts, when they first come out with the laws against radio frequency weapons against the individuals, that was put on the books almost immediately. Then, within, I would say, 6 months, they turned around and they changed the law, and then later on they changed it even more to the fact where only police officers could use like tasers and stuff like this, and that it was illegal for the general population to have this. They've since changed it again, and people in Massachusetts can now own a taser. But what I'm trying to tell you is when you go looking for laws that might even whisper of a radio frequency weapon, explore the law in the books and go back to the beginning of the law when it was first initiated. I forget the word they used for it. But a law can be changed in several different steps through time. But like I said, in Massachusetts, the law, the first radio frequency law was very specific to radio frequency weapons, and it included everybody. It was illegal, you know. And then as they went along, they changed it. And what did you say, Frank?
Redacted, I think, is the word you were looking for.
Redact, I don't know if that's the word or not. It like I said, the law has different steps, so you might check them all out. That's all I'm saying. If you run into it, that's all.
Well, I'm just one of these people, I guess. I guess you can say I'm just tired at this point where I'm tired of talking about it, and I want to do something that's proactive to try to get it stopped. And assault.
What state are you in?
I'd rather not say right now. To me, it just
Why?
needs
You in the south, the west, north, east? Where are you?
I'd just rather not say. But I just think we need to put it on the books and put it in front of people's face. They need to see, and I think our legislators need to know what's going on in each state. Some of them do not know. And we need to get this stopped on those who are doing this. We need laws stating what they're going to be charged with if they do this to a person.
Do you know anything about Agenda 30?
Yeah, I heard.
All right. That's what's behind all this.
Well, you're probably right. You're probably
I know
right.
I'm right. Sustainability equals depopulation. And any way they can kill you off, they want to. And directed energy weapons is a big part of this because directed energies can mock any malady, any physical or mental malady.
Do you know of H.R. 2977 of the 107th Congress?
No.
You need to look that up because it clearly states in Section 7, and I'm going to read this to you just a moment. Let me find it. And I want to read this to you because some of us seem to think, some of us seem to think this is the problem why we have Agenda 2030, excuse me. Section 7 states, Section 7, 2, under 4, they've got all these different subsections. And then subsection under 4 is 2. It states, through the use of land-based, sea-based, or space-based systems using radiation, electromagnetic, psychotronic, sonic, laser, or other energies directed at an individual person or targeted population for the purpose of information war, mood management, or mind control, of such persons or populations. Now, I said mind control of such persons or populations. We do not know how long these weapons have been around. And some people have said it has been around for decades.
Yes.
Some people are saying maybe more than a century. I have no idea. But this could be why we have. Who would they start with first? I mean, to me, in my thoughts, it would be with the very most wealthy in the world. And when you would go to the politicians, the law enforcement from there. So if we can bring it out to the forefront that they can read this, maybe they could do something. I can't, but I can try.
So, Kevin, I did a Freedom of Information Act request for basically, everything basically you just stated, and I was denied it because I stated I was a victim, and it was basically I got denied because it was a government operation, and I was trying to uncover a government operation that was going to be become public information. So I got denied that.
Who did you write to?
The FCC. And they couldn't give me any information because basically they stated that I was a victim and I was trying to uncover a government type of operation. So, yeah, I mean, it was basically stated that, they couldn't give me any information because these things are going on, and they denied me because I was a victim. And I've got everything documented.
Well, I mean, I'm one of these, I won't give up. And, if somebody wants that information, if they want that letter and try it for their own state, just let me know. Like I said, it's getting late for me, and I have to get up early. So, Frank, if you can get it on your website, I'd appreciate it.
So the FCC is aware of these things going on, but they just deny you the information of who is actually performing these operations.
Well, I understand what you're saying.
They all know about it. They all know about it.
I'm just, I just found the bills and laws and the lawsuits pertaining to it, and they do try to cover it up. They're trying to say, no, we don't have these weapons and stuff. And I want it out in the forefront that, that you do have them, and that's how I, bring it up as a bill. You put all these bills that they've already discussed, the laws that have already been passed, and the lawsuits pertaining to them. And, if I can get the help, I plan on suing for it, and we all should. I mean, I'm just tired of talking about it. I'm trying to find an attorney. Good luck with it, because everybody seems to be manipulated not to help you. But I'm trying to work on that.
If people only knew the power of these devices and what they can do to you and how they can manipulate you, they would run in the streets and they would all go to D.C. and burn the whole place down. If they
most people
really,
are not aware that
knew.
They exist. They don't know that it exists, and most
That's
people
right.
are not concerned unless it is
That's
affecting them, unless they know that it's affecting them. So I'm looking at a sheet right now. A popular mechanic
on their website dated April 19, 2018, wrote an article on electronic weapons torture fact sheet, and muckrock.com found it. So the gentleman that said that he wrote and requested information and was denied, well, Muckrock actually got some of this information. Also on their website, dated 2018, published electronic weapons harassment effects fact sheet, that what these weapons can do to a person's body and mind, and they got it from the Washington Fusion Center. So if you go to muckrock.com and go into their archives for 2018, you can find the documents, because Muckrock requested this information and was given it to them. So they have an electronic weapon.
Lorraine, are you there?
That's great. But
Hello?
the problem with that is you've got to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until it sinks in to the public consciousness.
And well, that's why I'm working with Lorraine.
Every day this has got to be out there. Every day it's got to be out there. You've got to put it on the internet every day on your public like Facebook or Twitter